Well, my favourite thing is meeting new people. These ones are actually top of the crop here.
You are about to meet 4 more challengers who will inspire you over the next 40 days of the challenge. Before today, they all went to Randox Health Clinic in Dublin, where we did blood tests. They stepped to the body composition scanner, which tells us so much, including metabolic age. Professor Niall Moyna brought them all through the minimum fitness test, developed by the DCU Sports Science and Health Department. Check out the tests and the targets on 40dayhealthchallenge.ie. Okay, folks, welcome to the results from the assessment day and day 1 of your 40-day health challenge. Olivia, welcome.
Thanks very much.
You're a farmer's wife from Limerick.
I am.
You have 4 children.
Yep.
And you're always on the go. We know that, whether it's with the farm with the kids or coaching athletics or Gaelic football with the ladies, you're always helping other people. And this is your time for you. And on top of that, you've had a changing career.
Yep.
Things are very, very different after 25 years. So this year is all about new beginnings and change.
The help of God. And I'm turning 50 as well, so.
Oh my goodness. How did you find the assessment day?
Always very enjoyable, much more enjoyable than I thought.
Okay, in what way?
It was just, well, my favourite thing is meeting new people, so I just met the nice people. These ones are actually top of the crop here. Just got there, something.
Even with a dub in the room. Oh my God.
Well, she's not really, she's only half a dub. But no, it was really enjoyable. No, everything until I got to Ed, Dr. Eddie, gives me the GBs, but otherwise that was brilliant. Like.
How come I always get the heebie-jeebies? There you go. So the physical stuff you enjoyed, because you know, and we found that from the day, and I want to bring you to this point. Sorry, here we go. I want to bring you to this video. This blew me away. I have never seen a female do that amount of full, proper press-ups.
I didn't know I could do.
In a fitness assessment.
That's incredible.
Ever.
Really?
It was absolutely incredible. Because they were so good, and you're so strong from your upper body.
Perfect form.
And the form was absolutely, even Niall Moyna was impressed, and he's a hard man to impress. But the beauty of this is, right, and why it's so important to show people that you're strong physically as a result of the life that your body leads.
Right.
In terms of the farm, in terms of the Gaelic, in terms of, oh, without a doubt. Someone sitting in an office can't do that level of press-ups. They might be able to do 1.
I'm sitting in an office.
But your background of moving a lot, and lifting things, moving things, helping out, working on the farm, delivers upper body strength.
Without even thinking about it. Like.
Correct. It's like, you don't even see it as exercise.
Yeah, no,
it's just life.
Yeah.
And the key thing of that is, that's the reason you can produce that level of press-ups.
Pushing shite every day is just... That's all I do.
So yeah,
biceps, triceps, shoulders, back, chest. You did more press-ups than I think any of the men on the day of the press-up assessment, which is brilliant. But it is a direct result of life. And it's a really important thing to talk about with people. That is, your body is a result of the life that it leads.
Yeah.
Really, really happy with them. I'm going to bring Sumi in now.
So there were 2 blood levels that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
One was your ferritin levels,
Yes.
which gives us an indication of iron stores. Would you eat much red meat?
I probably make a lot of it, but I don't know how much I eat.
Okay, that's okay, because we're changing our diets. You know, we've heard a lot about how much meat.
I cook everybody else's, but I only eat the second day myself. Like I usually eat the dinner from the day before, so maybe.
Okay, so you're not prioritising yourself necessarily. Okay.
Yes, it could actually be the problem there now.
And then as we're coming into, you know, our late 40s, coming into our 50s, there are going to be menstrual cycle changes.
Yes.
So I don't know if you've noticed if your periods have got heavier or lighter, or if they've stopped, or if there's been any change at the moment.
There was a change between, like I didn't have one between April and August.
Okay.
But now they're kind of back.
They're back,
again.
okay.
Yeah.
Your ferritin levels are lower.
Right.
You know, we like at minimum a number of 10.
Right.
Yours is 8, so it does indicate your iron stores are low.
Right.
You know, a lot of that can be made up with food, which Sophie's going to be talking about. But if you are feeling permanently tired, it may be worth taking an iron supplementation as well, okay? Particularly if your periods were quite heavy. The other one, which was really, really interesting, was your vitamin D level. And vitamin D is a really interesting one, and now the studies would say that everyone in Ireland should be taking a vitamin D supplement, certainly through these winter months. We just don't have the sunlight, you know. We don't. You know, there's no way of making it up. We're not going to get enough through our diet, and we like a number of 50, and yours is 34. So just with a simple supplement every day.
Just the one drop or something?
No, it comes as a tablet or a capsule. You can get it widely over the counter. But what you're looking for, if you're looking for vitamin D supplementation, it needs to say 800 to 1,000 international units. So it would be marked 800 to 1,000 IU per day.
Our main sources of vitamin D, diet-wise, would be kind of your meat, your fish, your eggs, and fortified products. Like you've probably heard of fortified milk and things like that. But as Sumi said,
I only drink cow's milk though. I only drink the milk from the tank, like.
Straight. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Is that good or bad? Like that's actually a question we should ask.
Straight from the cow?
Yeah, we just drink it straight from the tank, like.
Well, it depends on the person. Those who are pregnant shouldn't really be having non-pasteurised milk.
I doesn't hope that
Not a word.
It's a personal preference.
It's
It's a personal preference for yourself in terms of the milk type. But vitamin D, 100% should be taking a supplement between the kind of winter months.
You're up for a lot of changes.
Yeah.
That's what the 40-day health challenge is about, isn't it? And
no,
there's
I think
changes
you're the
going on
one
in your life.
that probably I need the most, I suppose.
Sort of you drive yourself with a harsh vice, don't you? You're sort of like you push yourself.
I'd be competitive, like. In
Yeah,
everything.
no, that's a good thing.
In bed, in both, in everything.
But it's how kind is the internal vice?
Would be the best, I suppose, sometimes.
No. For us and the work that I'd like to do, I'd like to sort of, is there whole area of compassion, how we speak to ourselves, how you can be in the light and be okay with that. You're a great coach and leader for others.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
and you're just sort of just turning it, and it's great. This is a great opportunity. You want to learn new things in life.
Yeah.
And you're going to learn as much from the other challengers. I think you'll be surprised how much you learn.
She won't learn how to do a good push-up from me.
Olivia, just remember that like, every challenger has their strength and their challenge.
But what I'd like you to do is set aside time for the more mental well-being stuff as well.
Okay.
Fantastic. Sheena,
Hi, Karl.
welcome.
Thank you.
You didn't have too far to come today. You're from south side of Dublin.
Yes.
Married with 2 boys, 8 and 10.
And the sausage dog.
Very
My
important.
third and easiest son.
You've been busy. You've had a very busy career. And with the new business on the way, renovating, moving house, there's a lot going on, to say the least. And you've this challenge yet on top of it.
Yes.
How are you feeling about it?
Brilliant, because I've totally let my health and wellness and fitness and weight and everything kind of slide. I seem to spend all my time doing everything for everybody else. And we've had a lot of upheaval in our family as well. So I feel this is my time.
How did you find the assessment day?
I loved it. I really was on a high leaving. I couldn't get over how Eddie, in 5 minutes, absolutely got everything that was going on. And, you know, when you said about compassion, it kind of blew me away because, you know, I was saying I was fat and I was unfit and you were saying you can't talk to yourself like that. And you asked me to do my life event scale, and I did, and it blew my mind. Blew my mind.
Can you tell us a little bit about that, just so that you can explain that to others? I asked you to fill that out.
Yes. So I've lost 3 of my kind of immediate family in the last 2 years, sorry.
Yeah, you're okay.
And I suppose I just didn't realise how much of a toll it's taken on me, although it should have. But I kind of thought I was this really strong person, and I am. And I've got a lot of great support from everybody around me, friends, my husband, my family. But I think it was just when I filled out the life event scale. I think 300 is the risky factor. I think mine was about 500. So it kind of really made me kind of feel, actually, you know what, you're not that bad. Yes, you are overweight, but you've come through a lot.
It was, to me, that's what really done. To me, it wasn't about weight, or it was where you come to. Even just explain the house moves, will you? Like, this is just.
So we've moved in January. We'll have moved house 5 times in 18 months. Now, look, it's a first world problem. We sold a house and bought a bigger house, which we're now renovating. So don't expect any sympathy. And it's all good, but by God, it's stressful.
Yeah,
and it's I'm sick of removal vans, let's just say.
Well, so, like, you've moved 5 times. You've 2 children. You've 3 major bereavements. You're creating a new business. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
That level of change. How surprising is it that the one constant in your life is food?
Yeah, yeah.
This is stress. Like, there's stress. These are stress. The life event scale measures levels of stress. It looks at how stress then can impact on our physical health. And there's a link between high levels of chronic stress or toxic stress, and it can link to physical presentations. But then some people can be stress-seeking Okay, I'm not saying that's the case, right? There's a sort of a group of circumstances, like obviously the grief, losses and grief that you've experienced. So to me, I just want to take a step back a little bit. Just try and bring a little bit of taking a deep breath.
Yeah.
Slowing it down.
And saying no.
It's a 40-day, saying no to people. You've identified that as
a
piece. And when we're learning to say no to people, if we think of like a ladder, like who's the hardest person to say no to at the top of the ladder? And then you go right down and you practice, because you'll never, very hard to say no to the person at the top of the ladder. But you can say no and build a skill, a little bit of kindness.
Thank you.
Yeah, kindness all around this table, I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
Your relationship with food is something that you mentioned on your form there.
Yes.
Just describe to me your relationship with food at the moment.
Well, I just love food so much.
Okay.
Like I just love food.
Okay.
But I think it goes further than that. I think it's a source of comfort for me.
Absolutely.
It's like a sensory thing, which is why I love spicy, salty. And I think I'm getting something from food.
Yeah, and you're not alone.
Other than satiation. Like I would regularly eat when I'm actually stuffed to the gills. And why am I doing this? Like, this is bonkers.
But that's phenomenal. That's a phenomenal piece, and it's really actually it's really probably a lot of people can resonate with that. Emotional eating. There's so many reasons as to why we eat. Do you know? Obviously, we have to eat to fuel ourselves. That's the number one reason as to why we eat. But there are other little factors that play a role, and one of those is your kind of your mood, and emotional eating is that. What would be interesting to see, and I hope you actually realise it throughout the 40 days, Sheena, is whether you actually feel satiated and content after eating as opposed to now with the balanced meals. So when we balance our carbohydrates, our proteins and our healthy fats, we are basically blunting our blood sugar response, so it's a more consistent release of energy, which helps with our mood and our feelings of satiation.
The next one I want to show you is this. It's your sit to stand video. You got stuck into that assessment.
That reminds me of when I gave birth.
Which was brilliant. What we see is a woman who's ready, who's wrapped up and gave it absolute socks, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
One of the things that when I watched it, it was like, what you see from the video, particularly when you're standing, is your body shape. Okay? Is that hourglass figure that we want to bring back.
Yeah.
Shoulders, hips, swooshy curve in the middle.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to bring back over the course of the 40-day health challenge. As you begin to lose your fat mass, we're going to bring the waistline back in. That's a really important measure of health.
Yeah, because when you did my waist circumference up in Randox, I said, no, that has to be my hips, surely. I couldn't believe. Anyway, it's the biggest it'll ever be, as they say.
Deirdre, welcome. You're a Cork lady.
Absolutely, yeah.
And your story, I think it's fair to say, is different to all of our other challengers. And I know it's okay to share it with our viewers.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is that you're living with stage 4 cancer.
That's right.
Tell us about the reasons for coming.
Well, I suppose this is the second time that I have been diagnosed with cancer in my life. The first time was when I was 39, so that was, I suppose, a big shock, but the outcome was really, really good in that I had a lot of treatment and I came out the other end and I was thrilled with myself, and I had maybe 10, 12 years of really, really good health. Living the dream. I was doing exactly what I wanted to do. I had kind of reflected on what my life was like and changed my career, and I was having a great time. And then in August 2022, I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. So yeah, I suppose, that was just like an absolute and total shock. It came out of nowhere. Literally, it upended us all because there were no signs. There was no warning sign at all. There wasn't even tiredness waking in the morning. It just crept up and, silently made its way through the body again. But I suppose I applied to do the challenge because I first of all, I'm a very shy person. I'd never be in front of any cameras. But I kind of feel, you know what, I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And so many people to meet, and that's really one of the reasons I kind of took on the challenge. Plus the fact that I just think a diagnosis doesn't, I suppose, make you give up on life. We have to keep enjoying every minute, And
how did you find the assessment,
I found I was really anxious about the assessment day, and I quite honestly didn't think I'd get through the assessment day. Now, I didn't know much about what I was going to be doing, but I didn't think that I'd actually pass the assessment on the day. And I think it was a great help that Jim said he'd drive me up
Poor Jim got more than he bargained for. We're going to talk about Jim in a minute.
And I'm still driving.
And then you rocked up and you did more than just survive the assessment. You passed the assessment. Your upper body strength was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, gosh,
6 was the target, and you nailed 6.
Oh, really? I didn't know 6 was. I knew Sumi had told me afterwards I did 6. Yeah.
6 was the goal, and you hit 6.
Yeah, I was delighted.
So your upper body strength is exactly where it should be for a woman of your age.
Oh, didn't know that.
Which is fantastic to see. Okay, and we're going to bring you to the next video, which is your lower body strength, your sit to stand test. A hard test. People always struggle with it. We've seen that time and time again. 17 was a target, and you hit 15 sit to stands in a 30-second time frame. So by the end of the 40-day health challenge, you'll pass that test, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Please God, yeah.
She finds it very hard to sit down for long anyway.
So you're not surprised?
No.
Absolutely.
Oh, it was powerful, yeah.
Totally.
Like to be so, like I think even for my mental health, that day was massive.
Yeah.
You know.
It
Agreed.
is.
Yeah.
The power of movement is incredible.
Yeah.
And as an adjunct to every other journey, it will only enhance.
Yeah.
And I think that's a nice way to look at it. You know, there's no competition, there's no race. It's literally for you.
Yeah.
And have the buzz. That's
Oh,
what I
it
would
was-
say.
it was a great buzz.
Take the buzz.
You changed my life and I already. Like,
Really?
I'm not been smart about it. Like, but the minute I met you and like you privately told me that story, like I
Yeah.
didn't know if everybody knew anything. But like I was like, oh my God, like this time not to buck myself up. Like I swear, and I'm not being saying it because I'm on here. And genuinely, you're just, I just a lady as well. Like I love people who are ladies. Like I'd love to be a lady. I'm not a lady at all. But you're such a lady. Like you're so graceful and beautiful. Like I swear to God, you're so good. Like you brilliant.
What I hear, Deirdre, is Deirdre. That's the first thing. I always, when, you know, not your cancer diagnosis, Deirdre. That's the piece. That's the powerful piece. And pacing and goal setting is key. Don't feel that you're being pushed by a plan, pushed by this, because that will only lead to debilitation.
Yeah.
So we pull back. We slow down. That's what we do. On those weeks that we slow down, we use rest, recovery, recuperation, and we listen to our body. And they're the bits that, if you push because you're following some form of prescriptive plan, that's only going to hurt you and harm you.
Yeah.
And that's not what we're about.
This week I'm actually in the middle of radiotherapy. So I've had 8 sessions and I have 2 more to go now, we'll say Monday and Tuesday. And I was even thinking last Monday when I was starting into the second week, I was saying, oh God, will I be able for Dublin now? Will I make it to Dublin, you know? But I did what you suggested there. I took it easy.
Deirdre, it's brilliant to have you here. We're delighted. Jim, another proud Cork man,
Yes.
a retired school principal,
Yeah.
and you do everything to support Deirdre. We know that.
Yeah.
And then you got roped into this when you walked in at the door of Randoc's Health to drop Deirdre off.
That's right.
You weren't allowed leave, and now you're a challenger.
Yeah.
Tell
I
us
went
about-
from chauffeur to challenger. Delighted though, to be honest with you. I'd met my daughter that morning and we had spent a bit of the morning together, and I called over to see what time the move would be to stage 2. And before I knew it, I was on the flat of my back with a 20-something-year-old shaving my chest. I was wondering what the hell was going on. There was an ECG, bloods taken from me, and to round it all off, then Eddie dragged a couple of tears out of me before I left.
Of course he did. Yeah, Eddie's good at that. Yeah.
But no, I'm thrilled now. There's fierce excitement in our house.
Yeah. How was the drive home after the assessment day?
Fabulous. We didn't talk that much in ages, you know.
Did you get a word in the way home?
Not at all. Deirdre was buzzing in particular. There was, I suppose it was the atmosphere of the day, the team of people, the challengers, everything seemed to be, it was very special, you know, and I'd be the first to criticise now and say, what are we facing into here? But there was a marvellous atmosphere, and Deirdre took that all the way to Cork with her. It's interesting what Sheena was saying there about her love affair with food, and I know a few people that have that real love affair with food. I had it myself for a long time, but I've had a divorce with food now over the last 3 or 4 years. So I'm not enjoying food as much as I did. And that's part of the mental thing that's going on at the moment, and the emotional thing, that when you sit down to enjoy a meal and really enjoy your food, I don't enjoy it now as much as I did prior to our latest bit of news, which is interesting, you know. So
I'm naturally going to bring Eddie into this conversation. You've just described really that food didn't become your first priority.
Yeah.
Deirdre is your first priority. That's fundamentally. But I think I suppose what came up for me, and how did you find that listening, Deirdre?
It was hard listening to it in the room, But I think even though you're not a total stranger, because we know you from TV and things like that, it was really important that it happened in front of somebody, I think, you know.
Was that the first opening, was it? Or
yes,
It was it? Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Because we talked about care, stress, and the impact of, someone you love, and you're worried and you're concerned, and you want to mind Deirdre, but also mind yourself. You talked about your dreams as well.
Yeah.
And can you explain that just for people that...
I suppose over time they've got quite dark. And again, that's when things spike in information we get back from Deirdre. So we're waiting on a scan.
Yeah.
And we're waiting on the scan results.
Yeah.
And then we're waiting on the bloods and the blood results. Yeah. And then you're monitoring Deirdre by day, and you're keeping an eye on how she's doing. And the mood of the house can very much just flow with all of that. But if there's a downward spike, when we get a bit of bad news, or there's like the most recent one now was the fact that one section needed 10 sessions of radiotherapy, then the dreams, they flood in then. And there's quite a bit of death, you know. Yeah.
A lot of anxiety in those dreams, because you suppress them. Obviously, you're not talking to Deirdre about it. You don't want to overburden her with worry. It's the pattern, isn't it? So you don't talk. You go to bed. In your emotional state is anxiety, and it comes through in these really negative dreams. Yeah. And we talked a little bit about...
I suppose, seeing them out, which I thought was important. That normally when you'd wake, you can go deeper, and it can be quite upsetting. But I think your advice on the day was to live it out, live it through, and bring it to a positive end if at all possible.
You're bringing the facts to the dream, and you're trying to finish out the dream in a way that you're applying information, not just pure anxiety, to that. And then that can allow us to go back to sleep, if we go back to sleep, and then you're sort of reinforming your thought process. You're unconscious at that point. Have you had a chance to practice that, or did that come true? Or?
No, I suppose I've slept quite well since.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's interesting now. Did that mean had your sleep changed from that conversation in assessment day?
Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. I suppose an awful lot of things don't dawn on me until I say them out loud.
Okay. Have you noticed change?
Yeah, definitely. I have, actually. I mean, I find he's cooking a bit more for himself now.
And Sophie, is that something he's going to have to do over the course of the next 40 days? That's important to talk about.
And toaster's a fantastic thing.
We're delighted to have you here. Wish you the very best on your 40-day health challenge. And thank you for coming to the studio today. Thanks a million. Well done, lads. Thank you. Well done. For more people to inspire you, watch our next 4 challengers get their first results. Caroline. Adele.
Braid is my killer.
Eileen. And you had knee replacement surgery,
I had
didn't
total knee replacement surgery.
Back last April.
Yeah, 9th of April.
And Martina.
You are in a pre-diabetic state at present.
Okay.